Have you ever noticed your dog quietly staring at you and wondered what is actually happening in that moment? Maybe you assume they want food, maybe they want to play, or maybe they are simply waiting for their next walk. But scientists who study animal behavior believe something much more fascinating may be happening. Your dog is not just looking at you. They are paying attention to you in ways most people never realize. Dogs have lived beside humans for thousands of years. Over generations, they adapted to our world. While many animals learned to survive around people, dogs developed something different. They learned to understand us. Think about how easily your dog notices small habits. You reach for your keys, they suddenly become alert. You open a certain cabinet, they run toward the kitchen. You put on shoes, they wait near the door. These may seem like simple reactions, but they reveal something incredible. Dogs constantly study patterns. Your daily routine becomes information. Your behavior becomes a language. And over time, your dog learns that language remarkably well. Researchers who study canine intelligence have discovered that dogs are unusually skilled at following human signals. Eye movement, body posture, hand gestures, tone of voice. Your dog notices far more than you think. For example, when people point toward an object, dogs often understand the meaning naturally. Many animals struggle with this ability. Dogs excel at it, not because they are human, because thousands of years beside humans shaped them to pay attention differently. And here is something even more interesting. Your dog does not simply recognize you as the person who provides food. To them, you often become something much bigger. Safety, predictability, comfort, connection. Watch your dog during an ordinary day. How often do they check where you are? How often do they quietly follow you into another room? How often do they settle nearby, even when nothing exciting is happening? That behavior is not accidental. Dogs are social animals. Relationships matter deeply to them. Over time, owners become part of their emotional world. That is why many dogs seem calmer when familiar people are nearby. It explains why some dogs become excited when owners return home, and it may explain why your dog watches you more closely than you realize. But what scientists discovered about what happens after owners leave the house surprised researchers even more. Because your dog may not simply wait for you to come back. Something much deeper could be happening. And once you hear it, you may never look at your dog's behavior the same way again. The moment you reach for your keys, something changes. Your dog notices. Maybe they stand up immediately. Maybe they quietly follow you toward the door. Maybe they sit nearby watching every movement. To most people, it looks simple. Your dog knows you are leaving. But what happens after that may surprise you. For years, many people assumed dogs simply passed time while owners were away. Eat, sleep, wait, repeat. But researchers studying dog behavior discovered that being separated from their favorite people affects dogs more deeply than many owners realize. Dogs are creatures of routine. Your presence becomes part of their normal world. The sound of your footsteps, your voice, your movements around the house. Even small everyday habits create familiarity. When those signals suddenly disappear, dogs notice immediately. Some dogs pace. Some rest near doors. Some move between rooms. Others stay unusually quiet. Every dog responds differently. But one thing researchers repeatedly observed is that many dogs remain highly aware of owner-related signals even when nobody is home. And scent plays a huge role. Dogs experience the world differently than humans do. People rely heavily on vision. Dogs rely heavily on smell. To them, scent carries information, comfort, recognition, safety, Familiarity. Your home contains traces of you everywhere. Your clothes, your furniture, the spaces where you spend time. And researchers studying canine behavior discovered something remarkable. Familiar scents often help dogs remain calmer during periods of separation. It is one reason many owners notice their dog lying near favorite blankets, shoes, or places connected to family members. Those objects may represent something bigger. Connection, security, something familiar in your absence. Your voice matters too. Dogs become incredibly skilled at recognizing sounds associated with important people. They learn speech patterns, tone changes, daily rhythms. Sometimes they react instantly to sounds humans barely notice. A car pulling into the driveway, footsteps outside, a familiar door opening. They are constantly gathering information, always paying attention. And this reveals something important. Dogs are not simply attached to routines. They often become attached to people, which explains why reunions feel so emotional. That excitement when you walk through the door, the tail wagging, the spinning, the jumping, the happiness that seems almost too big for their body. It may not simply be excitement, it may reflect relief, recognition, connection returning. And while many owners already know dogs remember voices and routines, what scientists discovered about how dogs read human emotions changed our understanding even more. Because your dog may be studying your face far more carefully than you realize. Have you ever felt stressed, tired, or upset without saying a word, but somehow your dog seemed to know? They walk closer, sit beside you, rest quietly near your feet. Sometimes it feels almost impossible to explain. How could they know? The answer may be far more fascinating than most dog owners realize. Dogs do not communicate like humans. They do not understand every word we say, but they pay attention to something equally powerful: patterns, expressions, movement, energy. For thousands of years, dogs evolved alongside people. During that time, they became unusually skilled at noticing human behavior. And researchers discovered something incredible. Dogs are constantly watching us, not in a random way, in a focused way. Think about your own dog. How often do they look directly at your face? More than most people realize. Scientists studying canine behavior found that dogs can recognize differences in human facial expressions. A smile, a tense face, relaxed eyes, frustration, excitement. Your dog may not understand every reason behind your emotions, but they often recognize that something has changed, and body language matters too. Humans communicate constantly without realizing it. The speed we walk, how heavily we sit down, shoulder posture, hand movement, breathing patterns. Dogs notice these tiny differences. Imagine coming home after a difficult day. You say nothing, you try to act normal, but your dog approaches quietly, not because they magically read minds, because they observe details, small details, the kind humans often miss in each other. Many dog owners describe moments that feel almost unbelievable. Their dog stays unusually close when they feel sick, acts differently during stressful times, becomes calmer when someone in the house feels upset. Researchers believe part of this comes from dogs becoming experts at reading human behavioral signals over generations. They learn to pay attention because paying attention strengthened their connection with people. And there is another fascinating detail. Dogs do not only study faces. They study routines tied to emotion. Your pace, your voice, your habits. Changes in normal behavior create information. Your dog collects that information every day. Without effort, without training, without you noticing. which may explain why dogs often seem to understand us better than we expect. But there is one discovery that brings everything together. The reason dogs build such powerful bonds with humans may go deeper than behavior, deeper than routine, even deeper than trust, because scientists discovered something happening inside both human and dog brains during moments of connection. And once you hear it, everything about the relationship between you and your dog starts making sense. There is a reason your dog doesn't just live around you, but seems emotionally tied to you in a way that feels almost personal. It's not only behavior, it's biology. When a dog looks at their owner, something measurable happens inside the brain. And interestingly, the same thing happens in humans too. Scientists studying the bond between dogs and people found that during calm eye contact, both species show a rise in oxytocin, a chemical linked with trust, bonding, and emotional connection. The same hormone that plays a major role in parent-child bonding. Now think about that for a moment. A simple gaze between you and your dog can trigger the same internal chemistry involved in deep social attachment. This is not imagination. It is measurable physiology, and it helps explain why moments like these feel so meaningful. Your dog staring at you quietly, following you from room to room, resting near you without needing anything, waiting at the door until you return. These behaviors are not just habits. They are part of a long evolutionary story. Dogs didn't become close to humans overnight. They adapted over thousands of years. Those that could understand human behavior better survived more easily. Those that responded to human emotion gained more care, safety, and food. Over time, that shaped a unique kind of animal. One that doesn't just coexist with humans, but synchronizes with them. That's why your emotional state can influence your dog, and why your dog's presence can influence you. It goes both ways. When you feel calm, your dog often relaxes. When you feel tense, they may become more alert. This feedback loop strengthens the bond further. You are not just sharing space. You are sharing emotional signals, and your dog is constantly tuned in. Even the simple act of eye contact carries meaning. For many animals, staring can be a threat, but between dogs and humans, it often becomes connection. A silent exchange, a moment of recognition. Over time, these small moments build something powerful: trust, familiarity, attachment, and perhaps that is why dogs feel so different from other animals we live with. They are not just observers of our world, they are participants in it, emotionally and biologically linked to us in ways science is still trying to fully understand. So the next time your dog looks at you, follows you, or simply chooses to stay close, it may not be random behavior. It may be the result of a bond built over thousands of years, reinforced every single day inside both of your brains. Because to your dog, you are not just part of their life. You are their emotional anchor, their reference point, their world.